Hello everyone and welcome to this character illustration of RIGGS from Brutal Legend. This is basically just a fan art of me painting this character in my own way. He kind of resembles Jack Black, but the whole idea of it was behind is to make something similar. A similar heavy metal warrior type of a character. So here, as you can see, I have started with a background, just loosely painting some blues and the metal middle some red, and slowly I have just blocked in the basic shapes for the character. As you can see in the middle, playing with the hair. I turned off the background because it was getting in my way in my eyes, kind of just messing with the face here now. Adding from where is gonna be the light source. I still haven't figured out exactly how it might look, like what will be the details. Since this is just the part 1, in part 2 I will be adding a lot more details and all of that. The first part is just blocking in basic ideas of colors and shapes and proportions. As you can see, I'm changing the proportions here at the eye because it was not correct. Adding some highlight. It's very important to add a highlight to the eye. It gives it like the reflection of light into the eye, because it gives life to it. Looking further, I'm very interested in this one, just adding a lot of flesh tones, but in my own way, like oranges and kind of an ochre color to him. Playing around with the mustache. Trying to get that feel of this ruggedness of his character, since he's been transported to another world which is full of demons and different creatures and heavy metal everywhere. And try to make him a bit older, like he's been there for maybe, let's say, a decade. So he looks much older than he's in the game. Adding some more highlights. So I've just I'm painting with a chalk brush with a little bit of texture to give it some feeling of like I'm painting with like graphite or something like that, or charcoal. But at this point, if you see, his face is out of proportion, so I'm gonna fix that a little bit later. No, right now. Now it's better. Working simultaneously on different things, like his facial hair, his beard, eyes and nose. Trying to get that 3D feel. Shadows and lights and flesh tones. Noses and ears have more blood in them, like when light hits them, get to see more of a red and oranges on them. They're more transparent than the other features in the face. Still working on the face, refining the details. Now the total time for specifically this part was 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I've speeded it up to 20 minutes. Now I'm trying to work on the jacket. I was like thinking he's wearing this sleeveless leather jacket. Trying to figure out what he's gonna wear, like a shirt maybe. Adding some more of the hair. And details. Trying to visualize. It's still really rough, but I get an idea of what I want to be. You can see him constantly flipping the canvas, so my eye doesn't get so I can see the details that are wrong. Looking further on the jacket. And at this point you'll see I'll be doing some major overhauls on him because I didn't like how his hand looks. It's just like there's no sense, there's no dynamic pose. I wanted somehow, like here, I'm adding bigger arms because I wanted to show this confidence and this guy is not gonna mess with him easily. So adding the color picking from all over around the painting, especially from his face and from the background, to try to get the same flesh tone and get more redness to it. You can see the hand, adding highlights and the separation of the muscles. I'm also starting to paint some wrist, what are they called? Wristbands that have spikes on them, but the spikes will be much later on. It's a detail that's not important now. But I wanted to establish this since these gonna give separation between the shapes of the hands and the rest of his body. So I decided to add a shirt, black shirt, sort of like an Under Armour. Working further on his other hand. As you can see, since I've did the arms a lot bigger than the rest of his body, you can see his head is out of proportion. So I'm gonna fix that in a little bit, just make his head a little bit bigger, so this whole thing looks kind of more unified. Adding some highlights, thinking from where the light is coming and reflecting upon the leather wristband. Yeah, definitely I'm not afraid to play with colors. If you can see, I have added a lot of different colors and mixed them up all together, trying to work from that. This is the whole fun part. Even though this is still rough, I have committed to some parts of it, like the face. at this point we are around 1 hour in painting this guy. You can see I select his head a little bigger. Gonna paint the areas that are empty, and as you can see, it's coming more unified and proportions. Rendering out the hands. A lot of work there. Trying to get those muscles to be correct anatomically by this pose of him twisting and bending those wrists like that. Yeah, at this point I'm just kind of looking at it, thinking what to add next before I try to render it out even more. Just working on this on his armor, this leather jacket, adding like pieces of leather. Shows somehow that he's a warrior. Yeah, the hair needs work, so I'm gonna try and give them this more of an organic look, like hair by hair, more defined muscles here. Now at this stage, I think this is how basically people look. I'm just gonna render out as much as I want it to look to be. At least. This stage, I keep stopping and just looking at it. What's right, what's wrong. Adding more patches to his jacket. At this point, I have zoomed in on the face again because I wanted to add more features to it. Add more light and shadows as they're supposed to be from this angle he's standing. Also adding individual hairs, his facial hair, the eyebrows, and his ear, which was underdeveloped until this point. It still kind of needs work, I think. It looks strange. I don't know. Maybe I'll cover some of it with hair. Old trick. Here I have zoomed in even more, looking at the face. You could see all of the brush strokes there playing the role. I'm just color picking from everywhere on the canvas. I've added some red on his eyes. It's like he's tired and it's like bloodied red eyes. But it's just I like color and like to see different variations in different parts. So it's more interesting for me. Adding this expression on his lips, like he's listening to somebody, probably. Giving more depth to the face, like trying to 3D look. So the idea behind this character came from playing the awesome game called Brutal Legend, which takes place in a heavy metal universe. And just imagine that this character is there. He's the center character of this game, which you play with. But I've did him in my own style. Haven't done that many fan arts. I always try to do something unique and original, but this time wanted to try and make something like this. At part 2 we'll be covering a lot more details, adding and techniques I'm gonna be using. It depends on how much I'm gonna render it out. But we're adding more features to it because he looks like he still needs work. Trying to get in this mean badass look. His eyebrows. Looking at it, what can I still add? Maybe I'll be doing some changes also in the next video. Working more on the nose, the eyes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this part. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one.